Alright, for those of you who have signed up with me on Patreon, it is time to vote for this week's podcast topics. The podcast that gets the most number of votes will be released on Tuesday, and the podcast that gets the second most number of votes will be released on Thursday, as well as Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer Part 2. So as you can see on screen, these are the options for this week's podcast topics. You've got witchcraft, real magic or superstitious nonsense. Then there's democracy as a farce. Then there's black women and weave. Then there's is everyone racist and is it even a bad thing? Sluts versus studs, why they're different. And finally, the reason women handle relationship breakups better than men. So 6 topics there for you to choose from. These podcasts have all been recorded, so it's just up to you in which order you want to hear them. At the moment, because I took this screenshot literally seconds after I started this poll, at the moment there have been 23 votes, and witchcraft, real magic or superstitious nonsense, that podcast is currently in the lead. In second place is everyone racist and is it even a bad thing? That's in second place at the moment. So get your votes in. I've got, I believe, 107 people who have signed up with me on Patreon and counting. So a big thank you to all you guys who have signed up with me on Patreon. I've received loads of messages and comments from you guys saying that you're enjoying the content, saying how much you appreciate it and that it's worthwhile and whatever. So big thank you to all you guys. And also thank you for your podcast suggestions, because you've all been coming up with ideas of things you would like me to talk about in future podcasts. So thank you so much. If you are interested in becoming a patron of mine, signing up with me on Patreon, it's very easy. I'll leave links in the description below. It costs just $3 a month. There's no contract. You can opt out whenever you want. I'll also leave a link in the description below where you can go and find out if you sign up and you decide you don't want to continue being one of my patrons, you can easily opt out, no problem. There's no contract. So it costs $3 a month. That's the equivalent of about £2 a month. And you get like a minimum of 8 podcasts from me a month. At the moment, this month is going to be, you get 8 podcasts a month, but in the first week, I did way more than 2 podcasts. I did like 6 or something in the first week of having my Patreon. So yeah, consider signing up with me on Patreon. And those of you who are already signed up, thank you once again. And yeah, it's very easy to sign up, very easy to opt out if you want to, and you get access to all these podcasts. And on top of that, there's a Patreon app which you can use on your phone. So a lot of people have said to me in the past that they wish I would upload my boxing videos, for example, in audio format to SoundCloud or whatever other website or app, so that they can listen to my videos without having to have their phone out watching, because you can't listen to YouTube. You can only have your phone out. You can't put your phone in your pocket with YouTube playing in your ear. It will shut down YouTube generally on most phones. Whereas with the Patreon app, it's like having SoundCloud or whatever. You can have my podcast playing, you have your phone in your pocket, your headphones in or whatever, it's all good. So yeah, anyway, let me stop waffling here, people. Get voting please on the podcast topics for this week. Once again, there is number 1, witchcraft, real magic or superstitious nonsense. Number 2, democracy as a farce. Number 3, black women and weave. Number 4, is everyone racist, is it even a bad thing? Number 5, sluts versus studs, why they're different. Number 6, the reason women handle relationship breakups better than men. And just off the top of my head, I can give you a little bit more information about some of these podcasts. The 2 longest podcasts are the Witchcraft podcast and Black Women and Weave podcast. The Witchcraft podcast is about an hour long, and the Black Women and Weave podcast is also about an hour long. The Witchcraft podcast, I talk about a lot of personal experiences, people I've met, things I've seen, experiences I've had, all to do with witchcraft, stories I've been told, etc. by people I know. That's what goes on. And for me personally, I found that the most interesting and enjoyable podcast to do is the witchcraft one. But also the Black Women in Weave podcast, that was done with a black woman. I got a black woman on the line and I was basically debating her, talking to her about the whole issue of Black Women in Weave. So that's also about an hour long. The others I think are like maybe 20 minutes or so. Most of them 20 minutes. Some of them maybe half an hour. So yeah, that's just a little bit of information on the podcast. So yeah, get your votes in, guys. Again, there's a link in the description to the page where you can vote if you haven't done so already. There's a link in the description to how you can sign up with me on Patreon. And there's also a link in the description to which shows you how you can opt out. If you sign up and you decide you don't want to be a patron, you can easily opt out. So yeah, it's all in the description, guys. Get your votes in now. It's Hatman, I'm out.